Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. So today I'm going to be reviewing something that's pretty low budget, as a blast from the past, so like a vintage type of thing, of course, and it's Kung Fu. Alright, seems like it's something I would talk about anyway, so here we go. Another foreign film I've been talking about, which I've done before, so I just figured, what the hell. I guess it wouldn't hurt. So the film I'll be talking about is the one titled. So right then, this is the title of the movie, or should I say titles, because he has more than one for whatever reason. But here we are, I guess. I just figured to talk about this because I do like the martial art genre anyway, especially the old school stuff. And by the way, folks, this is the unedited version of the film, just so you know. So I just figured to talk about this one, and with this specific edition of the film anyway. So here we go, I guess. Why not? Might as well. Oh, definitely. Well, anyway, like always, let's talk about the plot, shall we? And yes, like many of the other Kung Fu films I reviewed, this one takes place in a specific time period. I mean, okay, a bit more modern compared to some of the others, anyway. As this movie pretty much centers around the period of time where Korea was supposed to be under the Japanese occupation during World War II. So there's this Korean nationalist, and let's just say he gets into a fight with some of the Japanese individuals, and he's chased out into the streets and then into the church, kind of a thing. So because it has something to do with also the American individuals as well, that's thrown into the mix, and having the Japanese be pretty oppressive towards people they don't like. I mean, this kind of story was done before. I think like somebody else to pretty much, yeah, having the Japanese type characters be the villain. It has been used before, so of course, like somebody has to fight them and whatnot. Oh, okay. It's like, do you think that's a bit overused in some ways? I mean, yes, obviously every nation in the world has blood in its hands. I mean, yes, we know the Japanese had done certain things to the Chinese during a specific time and period in history, obviously. But that's the thing, though. That doesn't mean they're all gonna be like that. Is what I'm saying. Not every single one of them is gonna be a prick bastard. There's good and bad eggs in every group. And yes, of course, obviously we see this character played by a certain actress I brought before. She comes into play, and of course she wants to kick some ass. Definitely. Well, anyhow, I can't say that the fight scenes are pretty well made in this one. I like the fight scenes; they were definitely well choreographed. That for sure. And the copy I've seen is, and does have a pretty good picture. Obviously, I can say that this was definitely the unrated version, and that's how it should be. I get to see the fight scenes fairly clearly. I get to see the fight scenes the way I'll be able to see it. Obviously, though it's well choreographed, and yeah, that's a definite thing. At least for the most part, I like the fight scenes in a lot of these old school kung fu films. They tend to be really entertaining, obviously. And this is one of these movies I just figured to talk about because it does give me an excuse to talk about foreign cinema and kung fu. So there you go. The fight scenes were nicely done here. The well choreographed. It actually looks like this was made or created. It was done by people who are professional, of course. So that's a plus. I like that definitely. I can't say that because it's just nicely done to have all these fight scenes taking place in various areas, not just one spot. So I guess to prevent it from getting boring, I suppose. Anyway, I did think the location scenes were well done. Like you get to see how these characters lived, where they lived in this place, of course, in this area, and it's well shot, I suppose. And and yes, obviously, there's many belief systems that the Asians will follow. And I'm not being too specific here, but I'm being really vague. Of course, the Chinese will have their own belief system. The Koreans would, and yes, the Japanese would. The Indians have their own belief system and whatnot, so on and so forth. And I'm not going to get too much in that really, But yeah, I gotta have faith. I guess that's kind of like a thing in this movie, I suppose. And yes, like I said before, I do believe that you don't necessarily have to be religious to be a good person, really, and whatnot. And yes, I'm sticking by that, of course. But it does a thing though. It is. It's a movie that's been on my to-do list. Yeah, it's on my to-do list. I know technically this is a notebook, but I'm calling it a to-do list anyway because I got a lot of stuff to talk about. I know doing quite a bit, and this movie was on a list, but I finally got to it though. I finally got to it. Yes, sir. I just figured I'd do this because I was gonna get to it eventually anyway, but I just want to just have a more of the unedited versions when it comes to these movies because they're really hard to come by the actual versions of these films. And yes, in case anyone was wondering, yes, obviously I had subtitles, just so you know, I really did. But anyway, it was on my to-do list, so I just thought I had to talk about it. Of course, I had to talk about the this movie because it was on my to-do list, of course. But here we are, finally. But anyway, I just thought I'd talk about this because, like I was saying, I just feel like it just gives me a good way to talk about kung fu because I do like this genre. And yes, of course, these type of movies aren't really as popular as they used to be, which yes is unfortunate because I like a lot of these. I like a lot of these martial art films I've covered, really, and just that no, they don't talk about these movies as much. And of course, and yes, I do realize I didn't talk about like Jackie Chan or Jet Li all that often. Not really. But I mean, they were mentioned, but they were like that. But I didn't talk about them all that often because they were like more of the obvious choices when it comes to this genre. I just want to talk about something that's more, I guess, more obscured in some ways. People that, oh, movies, I should say, like one automatically think of really. That's why I didn't talk about Jet Li or Jackie Chan because they're like more the obvious choice when it comes to this genre. They're like the most people that would come up really. But nah, that's like too easy. I'll just go more further into obscurity to look at some of these movies. Of course, I don't mind it really. Oh yeah. But anyway, nonetheless, I like this movie, even though I felt like it was a bit too recycled in some ways. Like I was saying, like having the Japanese beat the villains. Like how many times are we gonna do this? I mean, really. And not every Japanese is a bad person, okay? But anyway, I thought this was a pretty solid movie, and I will recommend it. And I give this an overall rating of a 7.1 out of 10. It's a 7.1 out of 10. Not too shabby, I suppose. Anyway, like always, thanks for watching, and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh yeah, later.